Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Diana. Thanks for watching my channel, So Uncommon. And if you caught my Tula Pink haul video from last week, you know that it was all of the big backing panels. Not all of them, but like I had gone crazy. I'd gotten like 7 or 8 of them. And I thought there had been a little bit of a uh, problem. I thought they had sent me 2 of the wrong one. Well, guess what? No, it was fine. The one that I didn't open, I opened. Everything is fine. So if you'd like to hear the rest of that story, stick with me because that's what I'm going to talk to you about in this short video. And I have some tips for you on panel quilts. All right. So last week I showed you all of those great big Tula Pink panels. And although they're for backings, I love making them into panel quilts because they're just beautiful. They're typically one of the portraiture pieces, like one of the faces from one of her collections, like the Elizabeth collection or the Parisville or Nightshade, all of those. Well, she also has them for her Homies collection, which was her Christmas collection back a few years ago. I can't remember. I think it's been at least 3, maybe 4 years ago. Homies came out, and they're darling. I mean, one is a deer, a buck with antlers, all kind of um, uh, uh, ornaments put on it and all decorated. That's the word I'm looking for. Sorry. And then there is one that was Gus, which was the dog. That's part of that collection. When I placed my order, I had ordered 2 what it was the picture of Gus, but underneath it, I didn't see that it said Buck on there. And so when I got it and I opened it up, I had one was Buck, the deer, which I love, but I wanted Gus, the dog, because this quilt is going to be for someone very special at Christmas time. And I can't tell you who because that person sometimes watches this channel when they get a chance, and I don't want them to accidentally say, "Oh, I'm going to watch Diana's channel this weekend," and find out, and then end up finding out what their Christmas present is going to be. But Gus the dog was actually in that collection that I purchased. Remember, there was one that I didn't because the tag on it said Buck. Well, later I just took it out just to unfold it a little bit and see, yeah, is that really Buck in there? Let's just make sure. And it wasn't. They sent me 1 Buck and 1 Gus. Now I let them know that their tags and what it says on their computer system was messed up. That's how I got messed up. And I'm sure they want to know that. Oh, and I found out this too. It says on there, I Heart Tula Pink has nothing to do with Tula herself, but the owner of that company, and this makes sense, is her mom. That's what it says. It's her mother. So mom probably wanted to start a business and said, why don't I sell my daughter's collections and however mom gets these created in the beautiful sateen fabric, I say thumbs up. Now, this is really sad to say, but I believe Tula's mother is younger than me. I do, by a couple of years at least, which makes me want to drink some more of my coffee because I love Tula to death. And so if she were my daughter, I'd do anything in the world to promote her artwork. But so I Heart Tula Pink is Tula's mother. But I wanted to show you because Gus was in here, and you guys are going to love him. He's so adorable. Let me make sure I've got him right side up. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stand up. There. Here we go. Here he is. That's Gus, and he's got his glasses and his pipe. Is he adorable? So I can just, Gus is either like a grumpy old grandpa dog, or he's just a cuddly yummy. I just love him. And look, he's got his bow tie and his sweater. I'm trying not to get the fabric on my lips because my lipstick will get on it. And that's all the way to the bottom. But isn't he just fantastic? To me, the other thing, Gus could be the professor dog, the university professor dog. I think that's how I think of him. So this is going to be a gift. Now, what do I do with panel quilts? Well, this one is pretty big. I think it's 54 by 72, something like that. It's a lap throw quilt in and of itself. So I am going to trim this up. Now I'm not going to, yeah, I guess I will trim it up. I'll trim this up, add batting and backing, quilt it on my embroidery machine, and then I'll bind it and I'll be done. I'm not adding anything extra because if I were going to add extra fabric, I would want some of the other homey fabric that was from that original collection, and I can't seem to find any anymore. I know I still have some scraps of it, but I don't have near enough to do a border. I don't even have enough, I don't think, to do binding for it. So I thought, because he's got the red nose and the red and white bow tie, I thought I'd probably do the binding in this in red. But I want to show, and I'm using an 80-20 am I using 100%? Actually, I'm using 100% cotton. I'm just, my batting package is sitting right there. I'm using 100% cotton batting for this. This is that sateen fabric, but I want to tell you what I'm going to use for the backing fabric. Because a lot of times we'll get some sort of another cotton, all cotton fabric, right, to put on there. But for throws that I make for the living room, especially ones that are going to get used in cooler weather, a lot of people I know love flannel backings on those quilts, in my family anyway. So I found this backing fabric. It's 100% cotton flannel, so it's still cotton. It's just a flannel. And the reason I think people like this under quilts that they're going to like cuddle up on in the winter while watching movies, eating popcorn, watching the football game, whatever, watching the ice skating competitions, all that kind of stuff that we do in the winter months. The reason I think people like it is because flannel to the touch is always warmer than just a woven cotton. This always has a cool touch. I personally like the cool touch, and then my body and the fabric heat up together. But a lot of people, especially around our home, because I keep it cool here, we made sweaters. God gave us the ability to make sweaters for a reason. And that was so that we could stay warm and keep the heat low in the time and keep the utility bills down. So a lot of folks in my family like this flannel packing. And this is what I found. And I looked for a long time. I originally was going to get more of a red gingham background fabric because of the red in here. But then when I saw this, I just thought that is such a great fabric to go on the back of this quilt. And then probably, even though the red in here is a little bit darker red than is on our dear Gus here, on his tie and his nose, I will get a red. I will take this and I will get a red, probably this darker red in here from his nose. And that's probably what I'm going to do to bind it. I like my binding. If I don't put a border on a panel quilt or on any quilt, I kind of like my binding to pop out. So that's why I'm going to use the red on here. I could use black, but then it just seems like everything kind of falls in. The color doesn't explode and shine the way I think it should. So that's why I think I'm going to do the red. And there's not a lot of red on here, so I think the red will be a nice frame for it. Now, here's my thought when I don't do borders. A bright color like the red is going to make this pop out and frame it. But if you want a quilt that looks like there's no end to it, like there's no border on it at all, then what I would do is find whatever this fabric is at the edge of your quilt, use that fabric to bind your quilt so that it matches exactly. And then you're going to look like you have one of, like if you did it on the countertop, it's that waterfall edge where it looks like there's no end to it. that idea. You won't get any framing look. It'll just look like the piece, like the quilt doesn't have an end, but it'll be nicely bound. That's a great look. And depending on what the panel is or what the quilt is, maybe you're not going to do a panel. Maybe you're going to piece a throw size quilt. It works great that way. And I've done it that way before. But for this one, I definitely want him a little bit more framed. And I know the person that I'm giving it to will appreciate more of a framed idea. So let me show you Gus once again. So I don't know if at I Heart Tula Pink, if they've changed what it says, but when you look under the Gus picture, it may say Buck and it may say Gus under the buck, the deer. Go ahead and choose him because that's what it says, and I'm sure that's how they have it in their system. But you might want to like leave them a note too to make sure to let them know that you want the dog. Okay. But there he is again. Isn't he cute as can be? I just love him. Oh, I love him. He was just the cutest puppy too, right? Yeah. All right, everybody. That's what I wanted to share with you today. Try flannel backing for your throw quilts, especially those that you give in the wintertime. People love that because it's a little more cuddly, a little warm to start with. I wanted to show you Gus that he did arrive. If I would have opened that while we were doing the video, we would have seen it. But I thought for sure, since it said Buck on the tag, that that's what was going to be in there. So I had him all along. I didn't have to reorder. And the Buck, the other one, I'm keeping it. I'm going to make that into a throw quilt for our home because I know, like, nieces, nephews, friends, kids, all that. They'll love it. Someone will grab that quilt and fall in love with it. That'll kind of be their quilt when they come over. All right, everybody, that's all I wanted to talk about today. So this is short, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you get out there and try panel quilts because they're really fun and fast and easy to do, make great gifts for people. And it's great to have a pile of them in your living room so everyone can just grab one and nobody has to fight over a quilt. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you as part of the Sew and Comment family. We're growing by leaps and bounds, but there's always room for more. So we'd love to have you. And please like the video and share it. I appreciate that a great deal. And that tells YouTube that this video is something that the algorithm or whatever they do can kind of push out to more people so that more people can share the fun with us. Until next time, everybody, this is Diana at Sew in Common, wishing y'all a great day, great week, and go sew life beautiful. Bye for now.